Well, good evening, everyone. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. As you guessed it, today is Saturday, and we have a brand new master topic, which we'll get to in just a moment. You may want to go ahead and rush over to the kitchen and get yourself something delicious and yummy and hurry on back. Well, you know how we do this. Usually, our show, the topic for today is the master topic for the entire week. So, this is how we kick it off. We, by the way, are in series four, in case you didn't know, How to Live While Observing Your Thoughts, series four, show two, episode one. So it is great to have you guys here with me here on Inspirations for Your Life. Do check out believemeachieve.com. More of my amazing, inspiring creations. All right, everyone. So let's just kick this right off and let's get into it. This whole concept comes to us from a great gentleman who I followed for a long time, Neville Goddard. He's a very wise, amazing man. I wish I could have met him, but unfortunately, he is no longer with us. Well, welcome everyone tonight or today to our episode hosted by myself, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and not only a podcast host, but also a podcast coach. And I'm going to unlock the power of your mind to create lasting change in your life. Now, are you ready to elevate your mindset and master your thoughts in this episode? Well, I'm going to dive very deep into the art of observing your thoughts and how living with intention can unlock the doors to your dreams. With practical advice and insightful strategies, I'm going to guide you on how to live from your desired state, letting go of limiting beliefs and creating the life you've always wanted. So stay tuned because the journey to a more fulfilled life is just around the corner. All right, everyone, welcome, like I said, and we're going to kick this right off. We're not going to waste any time here. So, number one, you are not your thoughts. Huh? You are not your thoughts. Becoming the observer, okay? Our thoughts are powerful, but they do not define us. By becoming the observer of our thoughts, we detach from the mental clutter and take back control, imagining watching your thoughts as if they were passing like clouds overhead or by you, acknowledging them without becoming consumed by them. This shift allows you to create space for the new empowering beliefs and ideas to flourish. In this episode, I'm going to help you, and we are going to explore how to cultivate a mindset that recognizes your true essence beyond the ebb and the flow of the thoughts. You know, there was a great commercial on by a water company, which was really cool, and it says, life or the best part of life is in between the sips. You know, like the sips of water. All right, I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so it is a shift, everyone. Point number two is living from the desired state of mind. Now, the key to manifestation lies in living from the end. You might have heard that before. Living from the end as if it's already happened. What does your desired reality feel like? Living from the state in your mind, even before it's physically manifested, creates a powerful energetic alignment with your goals by embodying, ladies and gentlemen, the emotions and the mindset of already having what you desire. Now, you send a clear message to the universe that you are ready to receive. Tuning in as, breaking this down to shift your focus and immerse yourself in a state of being that reflects your deepest aspirations. Planting, unlike or similar to the way we plant, seeds in a garden, planting conscious seeds. What are you thinking? Your thoughts are like seeds planted in fertile soil. The energy behind each thought determines what kind of fruit it will bear. By becoming conscious of your thoughts, you allow them to grow in your mind. You can intentionally plant seeds that align with your desired outcomes. Negative or fear-based thoughts can be replaced with positive, empowering ones that help you create the life you envision. And so, diving into how to become more mindful of your thoughts and deliberately choosing those that serve your highest good and the highest good of others. So, when we think about our thoughts, right, and we think about the fact that they are there, right, but we're like, we're observing them. It's almost like going to a movie, right? You're not in the movie, but you're observing the movie. So you're observing the thoughts that happen, right? Maybe it's somebody burns toast or something. Well, you observe the thought. Gee, it smells pretty bad, right? You observe it, but you just let it go. And I know many people want to control things. So it's hard for them to just be an observer. But when we learn to be an observer, we are not going to be drawn in. We are not going to be, let's say, captivated by losing energy to some forces that we don't want, right? Number four, letting go and observing without attachment. Attachments can hold us back from the flow of life. Letting go doesn't mean giving up, but rather releasing the need to control outcomes and allowing things to unfold naturally by observing without attachment. We free ourselves from the anxiety of the unknown and trust the process. Now, this freedom opens up new possibilities and fosters inner peace. Understanding that you have to practice letting go in everyday situations and how this practice can bring a profound peace and clarity in your life, you will soon learn if you do this on a consistent basis. It's not like, hey, I'm going to do it once today and then I'm never going to do it again. No, that's not how it works. All right. Got to let you know that. Number five, the art of assuming the fulfilled desire. To manifest your desires, you must assume the feeling of already having what you want. This means acting as if your goal or your promise is already achieved, adopting the mindset, the emotions, and the behaviors that come with it. The more vividly you can feel your desire as already fulfilled, the more aligned you become with its realization. And understanding that you need to explore cultivating the art of assuming your desires and already making them as if they are a reality. And that mindset will bring it closer to you so that you can achieve your dreams. Now, I was doing something last night. I was actually building a new home in my mind, a home that I want to build. And so I was walking through every part of that home, and it's the first time that I ever did it. But every night now I'm going to start building that home and kind of changing things around. And it was very interesting because I got really detailed with stuff. I mean, like what kind of appliances were there, what kind of rooms I had in my home, and all kinds of stuff like that, and how the outside was. And this was really cool because I was able to really get into it. And even when I think back and I'm like, wow, I'm like, I remember that. I remember what that hallway is going to look like. And I remember where my cars are going to be. And I remember where guests are going to park. I remembered all this. And it was just great. So the more you do it, the more that you'll see that it will create permanent neural pathways in your head, which will make it easier to happen. So the art of assuming the fulfilled desire. No, this is not magic, everyone, but it seems like magic. The art of assuming the fulfilled desire. To manifest your desires, you must assume the feeling of already having what you want. This means acting as if your promise or goal is already achieved, adopting the mindset, emotions, and behaviors that come with it right now. I know that sounds crazy, but you can do it. The more vividly you can feel your desires. And I don't just mean feeling your desires as if they're already fulfilled, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, right? Smelling. The more vividly you can do this, okay, the more aligned you become with the realization that it will happen. And so exploring how to cultivate the art of assuming your desires already being a reality might seem like something that's like out of a fictitious book, right? That's probably what you would think, like some fiction book. But I'll tell you that it gets easier the more that you play. And I was playing in my mind for, I don't know, it seemed like just a few minutes, but it could have been an hour or more, and then I fell asleep. And I basically just kind of changed things around and what the house was going to be. And so every night I'll probably just go to sleep and think about different things in my home, right? And so you could do the same thing, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whatever it is, you can do the same thing. All right. Um, the power of inner conversation, number six. What you say to yourself matters. Your inner dialogue shapes your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you can't do something, your subconscious mind will make it true. However, by shifting your inner dialogue and the conversations to reflect positivity, um, confidence, and success, you create new pathways for growth and achievement to happen. Now, understanding this might seem like something from another language, but it's not. Diving into this and transforming your internal narrative to support your promises, your aspirations, will reinforce your belief in yourself. I think a lot of times, we might want something and then we think about for like a split second and like, well, why didn't I get it? Like you gave it 1 second, like just 1 minute, right? And I like to say there's a delay factor between, thinking it and it actually happening. Otherwise, if we thought, for example, we want a lion in our family room or den, like suddenly it would just appear, right? That would be a problem. So the thought or the living in as if it's already happened causes your body and your mind to operate on that plane. What do I mean by that? Well, by operating on that plane, that means I'm going to elicit the body language that I would have if that had happened. I am going to talk as if that had already had happened. I might even hear conversations from people as if it already happened. I was imagining having some people over for a party and having them compliment me on my success and my amazing home. So I think sometimes we try to squash our inner dialogue and we feel, well, just squash it, right? Or we tell ourselves stuff because we hear other people saying that, and we figure that if they're saying it, well, then it must be true. No, no, no. The people are saying things. One, they may not know you. Two, they might be envious or jealous of you, and they don't want your manifestation to come to reality. So it's you that's going to make the choice of whether it happens or not. Now, you might be saying to me, hey, John, so how does thinking it just make it so? Well, we'll get more into that later in the week. But the long and the short answer is that when you keep persisting on something, right, in your mind, it eventually will manifest in your reality. So the power of inner conversations is very powerful. So watch what you tell yourself. And if you tell yourself something wrong, just say cancel, cancel, and change the thought, right? That's all you do. Now, number seven is really one of my favorites, and that is living mindfully in the now. This is pretty powerful. The present moment is all we truly have. When we focus our attention on the present, we stop worrying about the past or the future. We begin to fully experience life as it unfolds. Mindfulness teaches us to be aware of our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions in real time, helping us to make conscious decisions that lead to more fulfilling outcomes. And so, exploring this simple yet very powerful way to live a mindful life in the now and how allows us to practice enhancing your daily experience. So, you might say, gee, John, I did this for 3 or 4 days and nothing happened. Oh, it's not going to happen that quick. We've got to change your mind. We've got to shift your mind. We have to get it into this new habit. And see, the subconscious doesn't really know whether it's happened or whether it hasn't happened. If it believes it, it just kind of takes that for what it is. Now, maybe you're with somebody and maybe they say something and it offends you. You don't have to allow that to offend you because you just need to detach. So if there are emotions you want to associate with, of course, you can attach to them and associate with them. But when you disassociate with something, or don't put yourself in that group, you'll find that it has less or no impact on you at all. So, the present moment, ladies and gentlemen, is something very remarkable. But how do you live in the present when you're worrying about the past? Aha. So, the present moment right now, like you're currently either listening to me or you're watching me on, on a stream. Thinking about right now, just taking a moment, how do you feel? Like, what does the clothes feel in contact with your skin? Does it feel soft? Does it feel warm? Does it feel coarse? Is there a breeze nearby? Do you smell anything? Like, is there an apple pie? What do you notice? Maybe it's something like you're hearing my voice and you're noticing that with each word that I say, it starts to install confidence in you. Now, you don't know how it started. All you know is that you were listening to me and suddenly you started developing more confidence. Yes, I have a way of doing that. And that's a good thing. So, when you start getting that little bit of confidence, maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's a tiny little pea, right? But that little mustard seed, that little tiny pea of confidence is all you need because then that pea can grow or that mustard seed can grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And then before you know it, you have so much confidence that you can't even shut it down. So that might sound like a pipe dream, and it's not. Your mind gets into a rut. And if we get it into a good rut to believing the things that might not have happened yet, I can tell you, friends, it's not going to be a long time until they actually manifest in your life. Because I'll give you an example. So the other night, I was doing something online and I got this idea. And I'm not going to tell you what the idea was, but I got this idea online. And suddenly I figured out how to source something. I figured out how to build something. Like, oh, that's a great product and service I can add to one of my companies. And this idea had been like out there. And I never thought that I could just bring it into fruition so easily. Now, this happened just in the last day or two, and this all happened because I started doing this exercise with the first of the year. Now, I've done other exercises, but I've really been very focused on Neville Goddard's teachings. Now, he has lots of teachings. I'm not going to go into all those tonight. But what I want to let you know is that when you let go, you get more control. And so when we think of our life as a movie and we can choose, right, what scenes we want to associate with or that we believe we fit in with, and what scenes we don't fit in with. And you'll notice that when you detach from someone or a thought or something, you'll notice that it doesn't have an impact on you. Maybe somebody just yelled at you, but if you disassociate from them, if you kind of like put yourself in that you don't belong there, you're going to see that that yelling didn't really, it doesn't have an impact anymore. So maybe it did the moment, but that's because you actually didn't distance yourself from the yelling. So somebody's yelling at you, which they shouldn't, but if somebody's yelling at you and you're there and telling like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to like notice the thought. And as you notice the thought, you notice it, but then you just kind of hear it, but then it just kind of goes out. And so that's the power of living in the moment. That's the power of observing your thoughts. Observing your thoughts is not something you just do one day. And I've got to be clear about this. It's something that you do every single day of your life. But observing your thoughts won't be something you're going to master in 24 hours. It's going to be something that's going to take time. And when you start to appreciate the fact that little synchronicities, little changes are happening, you're like, hey, this is starting to work. So when you focus on something, right, your subconscious does its darndest to show you, okay, yeah, okay, that's what's happening, right? Money's always in my life. Well, your subconscious will be like, okay, I got to show you that there's money always in your life because you believe that money's always in your life. So you've got to, but again, it doesn't happen overnight. A belief doesn't change overnight, but you'll start to notice little inklings that it's changing, or that maybe there is a different way, or maybe I have an idea. Now, this idea that I got the other night is a pretty amazing idea. But this idea was something that I knew of in the past. For whatever reason, I just didn't think that it was something that would make sense. At first, I thought it was something I would have to pay a lot of money to have it manufactured. But then I learned a way I could manufacture it myself. And because it had something to do with technology, I was able to figure out how to make it work. And I said, gee, there's a couple ways I could position this in one of my companies. And by the way, the product is something that my marketing and advertising company would be using. And it was something that I had seen before in the field, but it was always put out there at such a high price. And it wasn't personalized, it was just limited. And I said, well, this is pretty cool. So if I could get more people online with this concept, this could change everything. I mean, everything. Now, that was just one thought. My brain is already starting to think in that new way, right? Now, you might be saying to me, hey, John, I want to live while observing my thoughts, but I got so much on my mind. Well, like I said, pretend your life is a movie, right? And watch those thoughts and just allow them to roll off you like, let's say, warm water in a shower, or rain outside when you're walking, right? And just the rain coming right off of the umbrella and just letting it roll right off your body. Most people want to believe. This is one of the reasons I have the idea believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations, right? But it's the fact that they bump into somebody who changes their mind to say it's not possible. Once you say and you believe it's not possible, well, you just 86th any possibility of you ever coming even close to that happening. Another phrase I like to use is, even the impossible is now possible. Even the impossible is now possible. That's pretty cool. And so, if I was going to ask you right now to observe your thoughts for today, maybe you got up in the morning, maybe you took a shower, you had breakfast, and maybe there was some quarrel happening in your family. But maybe you got so drawn into it that you got heated or you got emotional. If you just allow that to roll off you, okay, it can make a very big difference. So disassociating is not something that's easy to do, okay? So it's like, how do we get rid of the emotions when something is already emotional? That's magic. No, it's not magic. It takes work, all right? But one of the things I've learned from Neville Goddard and from many others is that there's a space or a gap between our thoughts. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are not our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. But our thoughts make reality. So that just gives us the freedom and the permission to be able to dismiss any thought we don't want. Of course, we can bathe and enjoy any thought we do like, but we can disassociate from something. Maybe there's someone that always plays the guilt trip on you. Remember, like, Sister Rosemary, or you had a teacher or someone else or a parent always like, oh, well, I guess you don't have time. Well, I hope you're not going to need help. They play the guilt trip. And so you feel, but if you don't associate with it, that guilt trip won't have any power over you. Now, this is pretty deep stuff. And again, living while observing seems hard because in life, we're always trying to be involved. Like, right? Life is a participatory sport. And so when I say observe things, when we observe them, like I said, as an observer, we generally do not get affected. Maybe you're watching a news story and it's something terrible. But if you just watch it from a distance, say, well, that's not me. I'm just watching that. And that's way out there. You're not going to be affected by it. What happens with a lot of these stories is they try to draw you in. And by the time you've realized that you're linked, it's too late. So practice disassociating with things and notice how it changes your feeling to neutral from feeling bad. If it's something you want to feel really well, very simple. Just go ahead and associate with it. So anything that you associate with, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You are going to feel a certain way. So this whole week, we're going to be talking about how to live while observing our thoughts. Pretend your life is a movie starting tomorrow. And everything that happens, I want you to observe what's going on. And as you observe that, you can say some pretty cool stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Have yourself an amazing evening, and I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow.